Welcome back. Welcome in to the Lions Share podcast. This is Walkthrough Wednesday ahead of Monday Night Football against the Seahawks. Week 4 on deck for the NFL. The Lions come in at 2-1. And you know what? The Lions are back in black. They're back at home in their black uniforms for the first time in a long time. And they're wearing the blue helmets, which we're a little iffy on, but we like the black uniforms. The alternates will be broken out. Monday night matchup against the Seahawks. Calvin Johnson is going to be inducted into the Pride. They're going to be wearing the alternate uniforms. They're going to get a shot at a team that has eluded them for so long. They haven't beat the Seahawks since 2012, and Dan has never beat them in his tenure. It's been a tough one the last couple of years against these guys. So it'll be a chance for the Lions to get some redemption and also go 3-1 strong into the bye on 2-game winning streak into the bye, which is always important, even though it is this early bye. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Lions Seahawks. We'll take you through the NFL Week 4 and then get you out of here before Monday Night Football, the big matchup in primetime versus the Seahawks. So a couple things before we start into the preview. David Montgomery, he is your BAMS Player of the Week. No shocker there. Congrats to Andrew. Also, didn't mention this on the last episode. With your wonky score of 15-11, you're actually the closest in our predictions. And shout out to J-Dubs, who was in attendance for the Cardinals game. Did not mention him in the last podcast. That is bad on me. Sorry for no mention. But shout out to you and the Honolulu Blue faithful for the noise. And we may hear from J-Dubs here in just a moment. Shout out to Chaz Hook, who also made the music for this podcast. He says this on Instagram or TikTok, I can't remember. The black uniforms, the spirit of the shadow lion known as Scar. He will help the Lions. There you go. That's some positivity going into Week 4. Also, Jack Fox, shout out to Mitch. That's your boy, Jack Fox out there. NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. So there you go. Well deserved. Probably could have been NFC Everything of the Week after the performance he had last week. But yeah, that wraps you up with a couple things there. Let's talk about this before we talk about injuries, guys. Welcome back, Andrew and Mitch. Did you guys see this tweet that I threw up into the show notes? I'll put it on the screen for you guys watching on YouTube. Here it is. Terrion Arnold versus Marvin Harrison Jr. 6 targets, 2 receptions allowed, 31 yards, a pass breakup, and no touchdowns. Progress?
He was bound to, the stickiness was bound to pay off at some point. Did he have one PI this weekend? I believe it was just one.
Minimum of one, for sure.
And it was I'm pretty sure it was pretty blatant. It wasn't just like the hand fighting. So, progress? I mean, if my concern is it was rookie on rookie crime. So, I think some of the veteran guys will expose how hand fighty he is, but hey, I'll take it. He held him in check for sure. The defense played out of their mind. He was a big part of it.
Mitchell, you nailed it there. I would say a little rookie on rookie crime. And I think we all said it. Probably could have been a few more penalties on Terrion if they would have just forced the ball to Marvin later in that game. So I'll take the progress, absolutely, but I'm not going to rest my laurels on it.
Ooh, laurels. The laurels. Word of the day, laurels. Shout out to the Lions fan report for that little nugget there. We will stop sharing that and we'll go move on to injuries, which is arguably the biggest storyline going into the Seahawks game. They do have the benefit of an extra day with the Monday night game, but we had the unfortunate news that Marcus Davenport, who has been injury ridden, and we knew that coming in when we picked him up, but we were hoping for the best. He's out for the year, likely, at least a long term. So I wanted to ask you guys, I had mentioned this, I think 2 episodes ago. I said, if Davenport can't play, they really need somebody out there. We can't have Josh Paschal out there opposite of Aiden Hutchinson long term, at least. He can play that role as needed. But if Marcus Davenport's out, which he is now, I said we needed to go get somebody. You got names out there. You got Hassan Reddick, who I don't love that. I love the Max Crosby thing. Don't know if I love what they'd have to pay to get him. Do you guys have anybody in mind? Do you feel like they need to get somebody to fill that void?
I think they do. I mean, if you look at the impact that Davenport has had on Hutch this season, the correlation is not happenstance. I mean, I think if you look back to last year, Hutch was getting a ton of pressures, but not getting home. It's not been the case. Again, you could make the argument that he's played against some lesser talent to start the season, but they definitely need some help. How they get it, I'm not sure. I know they signed Tim Patrick to the 53-man roster, but you're right. Injuries are a huge story, specifically on defense this week.
Yeah, I would 100% agree that they have to go get somebody. The issue is, who do you go get right now? And it's like in the heart, you're really getting into the season, and you can see, like you said, Mitch, the benefits it had for Aiden. Not only him, but the young and a little weaker secondary. They have less time. And go back to what Dan himself said last year. Kamish was the juice that made everything flow. We lost Kamish. Now we lose Davenport, who seemed to be the heir apparent to that, and he was a huge body out there as a run stopper. I think you go get somebody. I just don't know who you go get right now.
Ooh, the heir apparent. That's deserving of. Oh, this is awkward.
Analysis.
There it is. There it is. Smooth. Nailed it. You nailed it though. God, could you guys just imagine though? Aiden Hutchinson, opposite of Aiden, Max Crosby. Could you imagine the sheer dominance that I mean, who would want to come and play Detroit after that? Do you guys what would you guys put the likelihood that something crazy like that would happen with this front office that has not been big splash type of front office?
I give it about a 20% shot that ever happens, and that seems like it's pushing it big time.
Same. I agree. That's probably pushing it. But man, is it fun to dream about? Just that combination would be absolutely lethal. I know people have floated around what it would cost in terms of bringing Max Crosby in. People were saying maybe 2 number 1 picks or first round picks, which would be lofty. But maybe, just maybe, that's the missing piece that gets this team over the edge and, into that Super Bowl talk. Next guy that we lost long term, Derek Barnes. We saw him go down against the Cardinals, linebacker core. Kind of one of the deeper areas. So I don't see them going out to get a replacement for Derek Barnes. Next man up mentality, I feel like. Then Liam McNeil and Sam Laporta are both day to day. Sam Laporta is out with that or day to day with that low ankle sprain. It was not a high.
What was the injury for Barnes? Because I thought I heard it was a knee, but I swear in the game it was a head injury. He walked off the field and walked to the locker room.
It was. I might be getting it mixed up with. Davenport was the elbow, right? That one I saw a replay of. Very disgusting, by the way. That injury.
I haven't seen that replay. Did he just get crunched, or what happened on that one?
Essentially, for lack of a better term, yeah. Yeah, coming off the edge. I mean, obviously, DN coming off the edge, and there's, collision with the tackle there, and just his arm does something your arm should not do, and it didn't look good.
Okay, I'm not gonna go seek that video out.
Barnes is a knee injury. Davenport's the torn triceps and an elbow. It's not good. It's not good for those guys. It was a tough week for the injury for the training staff of the Lions. But Laporta, is pushing to play in this one. Does have the low ankle sprain, so the better of the two varieties. Liam McNeil also pushing to play. He's day to day. Frank Ragnow popped up, kind of a surprise. I know that you guys texted the initial report, and then I think late that night was Monday or Tuesday. We get the news that Frank Ragnow has a partially torn pec, which is kind of a big deal. Not something you kind of just brush off. And if that thing fully tears, you're talking about probably surgery or at least a long time. So what's you guys' concern about Frank Ragnow? He, according to Dan, is pushing to play. Do you think that's a liability risk?
I mean, he plays his best ball when injured because he's always injured, but it sucks because you don't want to drop any games, right? And Ragnow's a huge part of it. But to be honest, it's a 17-game season. You got a lot of tough teams coming up. Cowboys right out of the bye. Maybe you sit him and let him get a nice long break. I mean, right? Let him get a longer break. Let him get 3 weeks of rest under his belt before he goes to the next game. I don't know how that works with a torn pec though. I don't know if that helps at all. I don't know if they just kind of is he going to rest for 3 weeks and then start like one snap into the Cowboys game? It's just irritated again. I'm not sure. Knowing nothing about a torn pec injury, I would say rest him this week. Let the Lions figure out a way to, lean on your defense again. It's been working so far.
Agreed. I mean, you can try to lean on your defense this week. I don't think it's going to happen with all those injuries on that side of the ball. I still say you sit them down. You brought a ton of offensive linemen with you. I think they brought 10, something like that. I forget the official number, but that's why you brought so many. He is a Pro Bowler. He is a vet. He's probably the best center in the league right now. Give him the 2-week vacation. The only positive he's got going to play is that it's the Monday night game.
You get that extra day, which leads me to my next point, which is Brian Branch. He's in concussion protocol. Obviously, we all saw it happen against the Cardinals. Hopefully, a day gives him enough to get through that window. We saw Anzalone not so fortunate to make it through that window, but on a one less day. So you hope that Brian Branch is doing well and healing well, and then we'll have Anzalone back this week. It sounds like so. We hope we can be as healthy as we can on defense and offense. But yeah, you're right about Ragnar. It's tough to push to play in week 4. It just feels like that might not be the move. Did we get an injury report today, or did they not do it because it's Wednesday? Let's see. No, I don't think we get it because of the Monday game. I think we'll get it tomorrow. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Monday night. Lions versus the Seahawks in Detroit, 8:15 Eastern on ABC. Catch this one on your local ABC station. Of note, this is the second of 2 Monday nights. We saw it this week with the doubleheader on Monday Night Football. Your first one's going to be on ESPN. This one, the Lions matchup, is the later one, 8:15, and it will be on ABC, your local station. Plus, if you have ESPN Plus, you can watch it there. Lions coming in at 3.5 point favorites. The over/under sits at 46.5. Have to go back to 2012 since the Lions beat the Hawks. Mentioned that at the top. The last couple matchups have been offensive explosions on both sides, totaling between 68 and 93 point games between these two combined. And then most recently, last season, week 2, Seahawks 37-31 in overtime, and that was in Ford Field last year. From some things from that game last matchup, Lions were stout against the run. They were pretty solid. Geno Smith had over 300, shocker. It's hard to find a quarterback that didn't last year against that defense. Lockett and Metcalf were pretty solid in that one, and the Lions had 3 turnovers. Goff had an INT, and I think Montgomery and St. Brown had the fumbles in that one. So that was a turnover fest, led to ultimately the Seahawks winning that one. And Monty ran well. Whose note was this?
It's fumble to start the second half. I got up to go to the bathroom at that game.
Ooh.
By the time I got back from the bathroom, because I believe the Lions got the ball to start the second half. By the time I got back to my seat, the Seahawks had already had the ball and were about to score. And I think I sat down and I was like, "What the fuck?" And everyone's like, "Monty fumbled right away." I was like, "God!" But he was running well, which kind of made it hurt even more, if that's possible. And if you were thinking your note that Gibbs did not run well, it took Gibbs a little bit to get hot last year. It took Gibbs a few games to find his groove, and I think for Ben Johnson to figure out, okay, here's how I want to use these two in tandem. But that one stung last year. It stung bad.
Mitch in attendance for that one. Blue ski masks were out in force there. Those had a short life, and so did Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on this team, which is great that he's not here anymore. We're all happy about that. So let's talk about our thoughts. Let's talk about the offense first. Last time the Lions put up 31 against this team. You wonder if those points will be as hard to or harder to come by this time around for both teams. The Seahawks this year have had 3 games under their belt, and they haven't played very much prolific offenses, not like Detroit, but nobody scored more than 20 against the Seahawks this year. So I think this week that might be the week that it changes. And what do you guys think about the Seahawks team coming in? Do you really have expectations on them based on who they've played? They've played the Dolphins without Tua and Tyreek. They've played the Patriots, who it's hard to say what they are with Jacoby Brissett at the helm. What can you really make about the Seahawks coming into town?
I think it's gonna be a fun game, a good game. I think the Seahawks are it kind of as they have been, a perpetual like wild card playoff team. There is something to be said about the level of talent that they've played, although it is the first quarter of the NFL season, so there's a ton of up and down. I mean, there's a reason we're all sitting basically at 500 in our picks, because it is just tough to call these games out. I got you, boys. Um, I think it'll be a good game. I think the Seahawks are for real. I think this is where you're going to see the mind of Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson out coach a rookie head coach. And we don't get to, I mean, everyone knows that Dan Campbell is like the ultimate team rah-rah guy. I think we're going to see Dan Campbell coach one of his best games on Monday night.
Clip it. Clip it, chat.
No way.
Elaborate.
I think you're dead wrong. I think we got an offensive showdown here. And think about what Dan's saying in the locker room this weekend. How many times has Dan lost to this team?
3 times. Every year he's played. Every year.
Is it twice? I think it's twice.
I thought it was 3.
They played him all 3 years? That would be crazy.
Let me see. This is
regardless if it's 2 or 3, look it up. I think Dan is hungry for this win. And I think it's even more so than the Rams and the Bucks. I think he wants this one just for pride alone. They're coming out in the black jerseys. They're coming out with Calvin Johnson retiring, putting him in the pride. I think the Lions offense is going to thrive in that environment.
So just to be clear, you don't think this is going to be one of Dan's best coach games?
Can I ask what you're totally disagreeing with?
Sorry, yep. About Dan's best coach games? No, though. It still won't be because the Seahawks are going to put up a zillion points as well.
I see.
All right.
Okay. I thought you were going to say like something way cooler, like his best coach game will be the Super Bowl this year, but you completely just went.
Well, Mitchell, just cat's out of the bag, dude. It was for a later episode.
Andrew he turned left on a negative street and just kept going.
I thought for sure you were going somewhere with that.
No, like you were leading us. Can't turn right.
It is the third matchup. They played them the end of.
Thank God, me and Andrew are here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, who would have ever caught that? Not me. They lost 51-29. Isn't that insane? The first time that Dan played them.
Strike it from the record.
I mean, not really. We saw. First of all, was that year 1, or
Yes.
was that year 2? Yeah, year one was so bad. People forget. I never will. There was a certain listener that was calling for Dan's head. Like,
Hey,
is that halfway through season 2? Just like giving up all
Tommy,
hope.
cut that. Tommy, cut
No,
that.
don't cut that. No, don't cut that. Leave that in.
He has texted me and said that, and he probably will again now. I didn't pass the message on, so this is bad on me. Sorry, sir. But he just wanted to clear the air that was said in a moment of anger and emotion.
So he doesn't said.
He said disavow.
I mean,
it's
easy to hop on the bandwagon when the bandwagon's hot. Some of us have been here the whole time.
He has been here he's our number one shareholder.
He's in the passenger seat on Negative Street with Andrew.
You guys,
we hold the most shares.
Andrews was, yeah. Who's got the voting majority? I'm just looking back at that box score of the 20. You know who that was because that was Tim Boyle's season. That's why. Tim Boyle was at the helm against Russell Wilson. Yeah, not good. The Seahawks only punted one time. Anyway, we're gonna forget that happened. We're gonna forget all the other matchups. For our purposes, the Lions have never lost to the Seahawks, and that will remain after Monday night. But yeah, I think, Andrew, I can echo what you said. I think it's going to be a hungry team, man. I think the atmosphere of Ford Field on a primetime is just elevated. You're going to have Calvin in the building. You're going to have the black unis. That's a recipe for a win. Plus, I think I said that they were going to beat this team in maybe my hot takes or preseason talk. So I have to stand by that, of course. Andrew, I wanted to hit you with this one. You had famously called out the offensive line last week against the Cardinals. I felt like they did all right. He just mouthed for the shareholders out there. He just mouthed famously ? So what do you think? Do you think they can live up to expectations even if Ragnow is out?
I think all that depends on Ragnow. I think you need him because we were going to keep track on how many different starting lineups we got for this offensive line. So hopefully he can keep it as one of 4 straight games. If he has to take a seat, what do you think? They move Glasgow to center, and they bring I probably Colby Sorsdale in, fill his void, or what is it? Awasika? Is that how you say that?
Awasika, yeah.
It's probably going to be one of those two filling the void at guard. I think they can get it done, but it's not going to be, to the Frank level.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I'm getting a phone call. I gotta put the phone down here for a moment. Send them the voicemail. What was I gonna say? I totally lost my train of thought here. I had something really good I was gonna say.
Welcome to the streets with me, pal.
I'm getting sucked into the abyss right now. God, it was about the offense. Oh man, somebody help me out here. Can the offensive line? What was it about the offensive line? I don't know.
Save Jared Goff's life.
I don't know. I had such a good point and it's gone. It's gone forever. Aaron Hernandez. Oh goodness gracious. I can't remember. Offensively, I don't know. I'm losing this battle to myself right now.
Give up. Move on.
So I guess my key for the offense is you got to run the ball. This is a team that you can run the ball against and take care of the ball. Jared played really well last week, first half. Offense came out a little stuttered in the second half. And I would look for consistency this week, as well as Jared Goff to maybe go turnoverless. That would be huge for this program, for the Lions, and a key to the victory. So I'd like to see Jared take care of the ball and lean on the run game, man. We know what this team's about. You guys have anything for the offense?
Just do in the second half what you're bound to do in the first half. I feel like that's not that much to ask, is it?
Shouldn't be.
Stick with the game plan
team
that works. Don't get too crazy. Ben Johnson, call the game you can call. And for God's sakes, if you get a lead, please just stick with the same offense. Please don't go up by 1 score in the first quarter and just think you can run the ball the rest of the game. Please don't do that. Just be yourself, man. No pressure.
I would say offensively, they got to be ready to match. I think the Seahawks are like a boom team. They have huge plays. Offense has got to get ready to match that and get quick scores on the board.
Absolutely. Defensively, you got potentially McNeil out as well without Davenport out there. Do you see this team being able to generate the pass rush against the Seahawks?
I think unless AG, and you see all the stunts. Like Hutch is not just getting home on his own all the time. There's some stunts. I think he's going to have to call a really good game and mix in some blitz packages for these guys to get home this week.
I would say it's not so much about the pass rush this week because we know the disadvantage we're going to be at. It's going to be about containing Geno and making him beat us at this point. Hold him for as long as you can, and then eventually get to him. But it's going to be a lot about not letting Geno beat you with his feet.
Drag him out to the abyss kind of game? Is that what you're feeling like? Again, kind of what they did against the Cardinals. They dragged them out to the abyss and slowly killed them, right? It feels like, to your point, Andrew, it's going to be a little faster pace than that game. Not going to be so sleepy. Probably some more drama in this one against a solid Seahawks team coming in, well coached, as you said, Mitch, with a rookie head coach. Though not many rookie head coaches gonna go 4-0 in their first stint as a head coach. A lot of guys have had success in their first years, but those are a lot of guys that have had coaching jobs in the past, and not the case here. So it'd be surprising to see them. But Geno Smith, he does nothing really jumps out at you about him. But he's certainly had success against the Lions in the past, so that's in their
I
mind,
think
no
Geno
doubt.
throws a pretty deep ball, to be honest. I mean, I think Geno is. I think it's weird because sometimes he can feel overrated, but I think he's underrated. I mean, he he can definitely figure it out to DK Metcalf. I mean, there's no doubt. Like if DK breaks by Terrion, and I think that's what's got me a little worried about the defense. Without Branch, who's the guy that's clearly with, I mean, I don't know if he's going to play, but Branch is the guy that's clearly willing to lay the wood out there. DK versus Terrion Arnold would be like an adult next to a child. He's got to have 50 pounds on him. So I think that's what's got me a little worried is DK going to break one off, and that's kind of all it takes. But I don't know. I mean, Terrion's physical. We've seen it. We've talked about it a ton. Maybe that pays off. Just don't give up the long PI penalties. That's what they got to keep in check. But I think if you can keep DK in check and keep everything underneath you, so to speak, they'll be okay.
I think you might be right, Mitchell.
About the 50 pounds?
Yeah, that 50 pounds is going to play to Terrion's strengths, where he's going to be able to get a little more physical with DK and probably, hopefully, not get flagged for it, right? He's going to be so much bigger. They may play to that a little bit more.
Your boy J Dubs here with a question kind of about the secondary, so we'll hit it here. With the list of injuries this week going against the Seahawks, how do you think that'll affect their defense, especially going into we talked about Davenport. He says if Branch can't recover, can't get through protocol in time, how will that play into our secondary not having Brian Branch out there? Anybody have thoughts?
I mean, I feel like I just said
You kind of did, right?
Said my thoughts. Yeah, obviously it's a concern. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Branch is just kind of he's like a free safety. I mean, obviously I hope Melifonwu can play. That would be huge. Is it going to be a Vildor special?
Hey, I'll take Vildor out there.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how they want to use him. I think this is probably where you would have loved to see. I don't know how they would have used it. And I don't know, pie in the sky, but I don't think Sione Vaki played any defense in the preseason. Does this kind of catch up to him at all? Dude, we want to use Sione Vaki and just get him a little defensive experience in the preseason instead of just a special teams guy. And I don't know. It's gonna be tough. We'll see how it goes.
It's a good point. You forget that he's got the ability to play both sides of the ball. Sounds like the coaching staff may have forgot too. Let's talk about our predictions. Let's talk about the scores. I've got a little bit lower scoring than you guys got. Andrew, foreshadowing, he's got a high scoring affair in this one. He's following the history. He's following the trends. He says the trend is his friend. I'm gonna buck the trend. I'm gonna go against it. I'm gonna go against it. I'm gonna go a little contrarian here. I've got Lions 24-18. I think the defense holds for a stop late, and we're talking about a Lions victory in Ford Field. Send it into Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt. And we'll be celebrating going into Tuesday. It'll be a victory Tuesday instead of a victory Monday. And I think the Lions are hungry, man. This team is hungry. They know the history with the Seahawks. They are itching for a dub.
First of all, you should probably make that the Instagram clip when me and Andrew both delightfully surprised by by you saying the trend is his friend. I like that a lot. Listen, I copied one of your scores last week. I'm gonna do it again this week. It worked out for us, but I'm gonna go Lions 28, Seahawks 18. I'm kind of caught halfway between you and Andrew, where I do think the Lions offense is gonna put up more points. I like 18 for the Seahawks. Feels like one of those weird, they're gonna give one. They're gonna give that deep one up to DK, and then just field goal. Ben Johnson's got to be in his bag. Need someone to step up on defense.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would love to say that the trip across is going to slow these Seahawks down, but it never does, and I'm going to follow that trend, my friend. And I will say Lions 35, Seahawks 34. Seahawks are going to drive late, and the defense will get that hold, Ben. They will hit that stop.
All right. So you're taking the over here. You're going to have us about. Oh, I know why you picked this score. You add 35 to 34. What do you get?
Andrew, you're just all about the diaper games, and not even like that's an all-time diaper game.
That's not me. This is a Dan Campbell thing. I know what this man represents. Okay.
Look. I love a good diaper game when we're in the 1 o'clock slot. In prime time, I can't have a diaper game and then be expected to go to work the next day. That's just too much.
Hey man, they wore their black pants. They're set. Wear yours too.
You know what's nice about this, though? To be honest, it feels like when they drop one that's not in prime time, and I'm not saying they're going to lose. I don't want this to be misconstrued as like,
oh, this is an Andrew moment.
So the Dan Campbell hater out there can just zip your lid. But I like how like I'm listening to it now, and they're going to talk about all the injuries. So if they prelude the game with all the injuries the Lions have, and then the Lions still show out on prime time, the hype train is going to find its way back on the tracks again. That's what I'm hoping for. I started negative, but I turned that shit right around to go positive. That's what I think. I think they're going to talk about all the injuries, especially if Ragnow doesn't play, if Branch doesn't play, Aleem and Davenport and all the pieces that we've seemingly lost short term and long term, and then they can figure out a way to play a really good game against the Seahawks, and you carry that momentum into the bye. I do think, to what Andrew said, to build on that a little bit, Dan's got to be hungry for this. He's pissed off. He's in a bad mood. He's 0-2 against the Seahawks. There's people stalking his house. He's about to take it out on the Cardinals.
On the Cardinals?
Damn it! I pulled an Andrew on the Seahawks.
Perfect way to end the segment, Mitch. Love it. The Seahawk Tuas are going down on Monday night. Shareholders, vote down below on Spotify if you think the Lions are going to win and by how much, and if you think the Seahawks are going to win and by how much. Last week, by the way, the Cardinals fans found our podcast, and they ballot stuffed. They stuffed the polls that we had, and they actually skewed it towards the Cardinals. Well, I'm sure they feel pretty silly now, but there you go. And comment below what you think is the outcome of this game. This will be a national broadcast, of course. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman on the call. That's what we're expecting on Monday night. Before we talk about a few more things, and then we'll talk NFL, we're going to put this in the middle of the episode now. We're a little shameless plug. Like, follow, subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify and Apple. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. We're growing everywhere. And rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. We would love it. Now, let's talk about the Dan Campbell house situation, Mitch. You alluded to this. This is insane. Last year, after they lost to the 49ers, somebody, I think he was in his daughter's class, basically doxed the Campbell family, and then people showed up at their house, and now the Campbells have been forced to sell their house and find a house where they are going to get some peace and quiet.
It's just crazy. It's crazy that it just really sucks that there are fans out there like this. It makes me think of, and the name escapes me, but do you guys remember that kick returner from the 49ers that had that crucial fumble, and he was it in the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship a few years ago, and he was getting like death threats. I mean, it just sucks that people are like this. It sucks that like something as minuscule as a week 2 loss has to be like the final straw to break Dan Campbell's back, and is like, we gotta move. Like, we just can't deal with this anymore. Beautiful home too. Like, obviously we've probably all seen it. Like, it was a Red Wing player's house. Gorgeous. So it just sucks. It sucks that people are like this. It sucks that people think this type of thing is funny and like has no consequences on real life. You feel for him. DC deserves better, Detroit. We got to be better.
Can you imagine the cookouts that you could have out here? I mean, just incredible. Incredible. This is my first time going through all the pictures, but wow. The full gym, of course. All the fixins. Wow. Yeah, that's a shame. I'm sure they've got a nice one now, but dang. I mean, it just speaks to the resolve that you got to have to be a head coach. Oh my God. Can you imagine like you you can't even sleep in peace. I mean, how the hell do you even disconnect as a as a NFL head coach in this league during the season, let alone the offseason? But my goodness, yeah, that's a crazy story. I wanted to show you guys this. I know Mitch, you're an apparel guy. Did you happen to see the salute to service?
I did see the salute service. I was going to say it's the best thing they've done for the Lions this year so far.
Andrew, thoughts?
That was the first time seeing of it. I actually really like that, though. I like
Went
that
a little
Hutch
different
jersey.
route.
Keep going,
Yeah.
keep going. Ooh, that
I like
shirt.
the long sleeve.
I like that as well.
The long sleeve plays big time.
I might be looking into that hoodie there too. Yeah, no, and J-Dubs, I believe, was rocking the salute to service Jared Goff jersey at the Cardinals game as well.
Hell yeah, yes he was. He was in attendance. Said the weather was great inside that stadium. That is State Farm Stadium.
AC was blasting though.
Perfect weather.
I just tried to scroll on the screen share, but yeah, no, I really do like the long sleeves. This is a lot different than what we've seen in years past, but this long sleeve might be finding its way into my cart. There you go. That's the salute to service, though. Kind of looks like I don't know. I haven't looked at other teams, but it kind of looks like we're just going monochromatic. All right, let's traverse into NFL Week 4. Let's give you the 506 maps because, of course, the Lions play on Monday night. So if you're looking for stuff to watch and you don't have Sunday Ticket or Red Zone, these are the games that you're going to get if you're in the state of Michigan. This is your first matchup in CBS. If you're in the great state of Michigan, you're going to be getting Green Bay in Wisconsin. You're going to be getting Green Bay in Minnesota. There you go. Let me try that again. So an NFC North matchup. That's what you'll get to watch at the 1 o'clock window on CBS. On the late side of CBS, you're going to get Chargers and Chiefs because pretty much the entire country going to be getting that one, minus a few people getting Vegas and Cleveland. And then on your Fox station, you'll be getting Rams versus the Bears. So you'll get to be able to see between your Fox and your CBS station, you'll be able to see the entire NFC North battle it out with the matchup between the Vikings and the Packers. And then you'll also be seeing the Rams, the old Stafford crew, take on the Chicago Bears. That's your 506 map update of the week. And then that takes us right into our picks for NFL Week 4 as it stands right now. Mitch, 26-22. He's your lead dog. Give him the crown. I'm one game back at 25-23. Andrew, 22-26. Which begs the question, Mitch. You talked about this a little bit, but we were solid last year. I mean, we were really solid. I think we ended both of us ended about 65-70% of the games we were getting right. What has happened?
We'll find our stride. It's early, and let's not act like. I mean, the Bengals always start slow, so that may have been a little of a miss. But Cowboys 1-2, Vikings 3-0. You got the Broncos upset last week. There's been some up and down games, so we'll hit our stride. I'm not worried about us.
Andrew, any thoughts from you?
I said us. I meant us.
This is where I live. I'm used to this.
Yeah.
Welcome to the mud.
Welcome to the show. Let's go to the spreadsheet.
grit.
Welcome to the grit. The grit show. That's what we should have named this podcast. Silly us. Okay. Let's try to snake order this one. So bear with us. I know that the order doesn't really, we'll see how this goes. I'll start us off with Thursday Night Football on Prime. It's going to be an NFC East matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York G-Men Giants. We might have a little rain in this one. It's going to be a mixture of rain and clouds in this one, so watch for some showers, but it should be relatively dry. Nothing too crazy, nothing like the Bills-Ravens matchup, which we'll touch on. But this one will be on Prime on Thursday night. This one's taking place, and I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Cowboys got to get right. I mean, they just have to. I don't see the Cowboys losing this game.
Mitchell, 100% agree with you guys. They got to get right here. And speaking of games and teams that have to get right after last week, we got the Saints heading into Atlanta, taking on the Falcons, not the Hawks here, Indoors, don't worry about the weather. I'm sure it'll be nice, though. I've got the Saints. I think they're going to bounce back a little bit better here.
This to me feels like a who's for real game. I think this is big time. We're gonna find out which of these teams is actually going to poise themselves as a playoff team. I
Love
think it's
that.
the Falcons. The Falcons were my NFC South pick to win that division. So I'm gonna stick with that. I think the Falcons get it done. I think the Saints were riding high. This one, I think. Where did we? No, we didn't get loaded up, but. I take the over in this one. I'll find out what that is, but whatever it is, I like the over in this game.
Yeah, let me see if we can run the script here. Tommy, run that script. I agree so much with what you said there, Mitch. I think whichever team loses this could potentially spiral from here. There you go. There's your totals in there. Sorry that wasn't loaded in there prior.
42.5. I like that over. Give me that.
Yeah. I would take that too if I was a betting man, and I'm going to take the Falcons over the Saints here. Falcons at home feels right. I don't think Derek Carr and that team is going to travel very well to Hotlanta, so I'm going to take the Falcons. Mitch, why don't you take us to Chicago?
We're gonna mix this up. By the way, Andrew, King of Conspiracy Theories, I want you to look up.
Founder.
I want you to look into Derek Carr in election years. Look into that really quick. Rams, Bears. I just like Caleb Williams is just like no bueno. He looks lost. He looks pouty. I think Sean McVay coached one of the all-time games and threw everything at the 49ers to win. Still impressive. I'm not going to pick the Bears. I like the Rams in this one.
I'll go next, Andrew. What did you?
Okay, thank you.
I got a question for you, Mitch, about that. Was that a bit? I'm not sure. I'll take the Rams.
Go ahead. Well, I'm gonna look it. I'm gonna look it up. I'll send you guys the article. Derek Carr is like MVP in election years. It's legit.
One of the few
still don't know
times
if-
I don't feel
I'm not-
lost. This is
I don't-
crazy.
I'm not sure that I want to bite the trash on this or not, or if this is real. But if you listen to the last episode, shareholders, you might know that Mitch is repeating something we already said.
Oh, did I already say this?
No, I showed us a TikTok about
I don't know
this.
if he was on this
Oh.
episode. I don't know
yeah,
if
no,
Mitchell
he
was
definitely-
present for that episode.
He definitely was, because he was talking about the guy who's like, oh, he's blocking the year.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, Ben. This isn't my best episode. I'm gonna have to clean this up, aren't I?
No, this is your best
Oh,
episode, and this is going to be Dan's best game.
I still got Rams.
So I think that's me. I think I go now.
Dude, this is all sorts
Yeah,
of
we're
mess.
gonna have to obey. Just stick me back in the middle. This is
Okay.
too much.
This is crazy.
We'll stick you back in there just like an Oreo
This
cookie.
is why I talked about Derek Carr, because you tried to pull this shit.
Okay. Yeah, you were playing the Andrew rule. I get it. You were trying to be Andrew. I get
Andrew
it.
just caught a buckshot right there.
Hey, everybody's been taking shots this episode. I want to take a shot of alcohol after this one. Vikings going over to Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's your next matchup. 75 degrees and sunny. Green Bay slight favorites in this one. This one will be on CBS. Give me the Pack over the Vikings, but I'd love for both teams to lose.
Ooh. You know what? Just for the fun of it.
Oh, he's gonna do
No.
it.
No,
He's
I'm not
gonna take a
do it.
tie.
I'm not gonna do
Take
it.
the tie.
I like the Packers, but we want a tie in this one.
Oh, Mitchell.
I'll take a tie if all three of us take a tie.
I can't afford it right now.
Oh, you coward, Ben.
Oh,
I'll do it if
oh,
you do it,
we-
Andrew.
Oh, I want it. I want it so bad.
Will you take a tie with me?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll take that tie. Mark me down.
Okay.
And
So
it's
That's
gonna-
a tough matchup. I'm just-
for a tie.
I'm glad we get to watch this game. I will say that. Here's my thing, and then we'll move on. Malik Willis, and you guys think Jordan Love's going to play. Malik Willis doesn't win 3 in a row, and I just don't see the Vikings winning 4-0 to start the season without their number one quarterback. I don't know who number one is now. We'll move on though. Pittsburgh rolling into Indianapolis, trying to take on the Colts, trying to stay 4-0 in this one. Another dome. Pittsburgh favored by 1.5 in this one. I'm going to take the Colts at home. I think Jonathan Taylor finally kind of has his breakout game. He's had some decent games, but I don't think he's like broken out. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We're still waiting for Hutch's breakout game. I like the Steelers. Listen, the Steelers defense is for real. Brian Flores is an absolute stud of a coach. Anthony Richardson, we talked about this, not very good at quarterback in the NFL right now. I like Steelers in this one.
I've got the Colts. Can't really remember why I took the Colts. I wrote these down a couple days ago. The Steelers defense definitely scares me, but I feel like this has got upset written all over it, even though it is only just a 1.5. But I'll take the Colts.
Yeah, Mitchell, after listening to you, I got very nervous and flashbacks of that Anthony Richardson interception. But I'm going to stick with the Colts, but I got very worried when you said
to your
that.
guns.
I don't feel great about it, but that's the whole reason I feel good about the pick is because this one seems like it should be a Steelers win, but I feel like it's going to be the Colts coming back because that's what the Colts do. Like they did random things like this last year. So give me the Colts. Let's take us to New York. This is one of your biggest spreads of the week. We've got the Jets taking on the Broncos. It's a Nathaniel Hackett revenge game. Everybody's talking about that for the Jets. For all those reasons, I feel like Aaron Rodgers and that offense are going to be coming out firing against the Broncos, and I don't think the Broncos have the ability to win 2 in a row like they did. And they haven't done it in a long time. They beat the Bucs last week. I don't think they win 2 in a row. Give me the Jets.
Yeah, I don't think the Broncos have the talent to win this game. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett revenge game. It's Aaron Rodgers' team. I don't know why. I like the Jets, but not because of Nathaniel Hackett.
Agree. I think Nathaniel Hackett has nothing to do with it. I do think this is going to be Aaron Rodgers', dare I say, breakout game. I think he's going to throw a lot of touchdowns on this team, and he's going to absolutely pick this defense apart. Let's get the hell out of that one. Ben's still a question mark here, so I'm excited to see it. But we're going the Eagles heading into Tampa Bay. What did we say? How much showers? We got a hurricane rolling in. Which hurricane is this, Ben?
That's Hurricane Helene or Helen. Helene. I don't know.
Well, with all that being said, I think Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley on the ground win this game.
I'm shocked you didn't just make a weather pun there.
Please
I was just expecting you to say like, that won't be the only hurricane. Saquon Barkley, insert bad joke here. That's what I was expecting.
I haven't had one bad joke. We leave those for Ben.
I like
Fair
the
enough.
Bucs. Eagles just feel ugly right now. Eagles feel like they have Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts has regressed. I think the Bucs win this one.
I have a question mark in here because I wanted to hear what you guys had to say. I like that you guys are both you presenting
Hey
good
Ben,
reasons.
if nothing else, CJGJ plays for the Eagles.
That's a good argument. It's a really good argument. This is a rematch of the wild card last year. Give me the Bucs, and I'm going to say rock me like a hurricane, baby. Take me to Houston, where there are no hurricanes right now. Houston Texans at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who might be in trouble. Houston favored in this one, 6.5-point favorites. I'm going to take the Texans because they aren't going to lose 2 in a row. They lost bad to the Vikings. They don't lose again.
The Jags are in trouble. Doug Peterson is in trouble. If they don't figure it out, I don't think he makes it halfway through the season. I don't know when the Jags bye is. I can look that up really quick. If they don't start to turn it around right now, especially when your owner comes out and says, this is the best team we've ever assembled, and you lay an absolute egg over and over again to start the season, it's going to get ugly quick. So I think if they don't rattle off like 3 in a row right now, Doug Peterson is out. Looks like they have a late bye, not until, am I reading this wrong? When is their bye? Never. I think their bye is
First
never.
team ever to not have a bye.
20. Something's off here, boys. Tommy might have to look into this for me. Oh right, yeah, right here. Thanksgiving weekend. So November 23rd, 24th, is that when that is? If they're not like above 500 by the bye, Doug Peterson's gone, I think.
That's tough for old Dougie, but I think you may be right. They look bad. It went from fade the Panthers to fade the Jags real quick. I'm going Texans. No doubter there. And now we got losers from last week. Washington Commanders taking on the Arizona Cardinals. I don't see why that's so funny. Still in a dome there. I'm taking the Cardinals. I think they bounced back from last week.
Yeah, I've got the Cards as well. I'm expecting some nice weather in here. So,
Sorry.
what is so funny?
It's just because Andrew said the losers from last week, so I thought he was going to say the Cardinals, but he said the Commanders who won. I know what you meant, the Cardinals from last week who lost to the Lions, but oh man.
Folks, he's crying.
You got the Cardinals? I got the
Yeah, that's
Commanders.
what I said, bud.
I got the Commanders. I can't believe you guys aren't taking the Commanders. That takes us to the Santa Clara Levi Stadium. The 49ers taking on the Patriots. Give me the 49ers in a nice, sunny, 82-degree matchup. The 49ers aren't going to lose 3 in a row.
Agreed.
Or whatever they
Bang.
have.
Yeah, banged up, but the Pats don't travel. That's for sure. Oh, well, we need another bounce back. We got Cleveland Browns and your favorite, Ben, Deshaun Watson, coming into Las Vegas, of all places, to take on the Raiders. I think the
Watch
Raiders,
out.
as they've done before with Deshaun Watson, absolutely dominate him. Give me the Raiders.
Yeah, this one's a little tough for me. It feels like the Browns are all season gonna show flashes of what they were last year. But I like the Raiders. I think that locker room is gonna respond to Antonio Pierce calling them out. I think Raiders get it done.
Agreed. Raiders. Kind of want Vegas to lose, though, so we get a better opportunity at Crosby, but that's just selfish. I'll take the Raiders. This takes you to the Chiefs taking on the Chargers in an AFC West matchup. This one will be in the Dome. That is LA. This one's at LA, but we know that fan base isn't very strong. A lot of Chiefs going to be in that one. Chiefs big favorite, 7.5 points in this one. Herbert with a questionable ankle there coming into this one. I will take the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's the biggest spread of the week for a reason. I think similar to Ragnow, if you're the Chargers, you just rest Herbert. Let his ankle get right. If you keep pushing it, it's just going to nag and nag and nag this season. I think you got to let Herbert rest up. I like the Chiefs.
Agreed. I think the Chargers are in a good spot to let Herbert rest too. Give me the Chiefs. And this was the surpriser for me, but we got the Bills heading into Baltimore, taking on the Ravens. Ben's calling this a soaker, a half inch of rain. Baltimore's got a 2.5 point as a 2.5 point favorite in this one. I think Derrick Henry on the ground is the easy choice in this one. Give me the Ravens.
Yeah, I agree with Andrew. The Ravens with a 2.5 point I think that's going to play a factor here. The listeners will get it when they play back here. I like the Ravens. I mean, we talked about this a little bit pre-show. Derrick Henry thrives when other players don't want to be out there. I think Josh Allen is the through 3 games NFL MVP. The rain is going to make it tough. This is going to be a James Cook and Derrick Henry show off game.
I take the Bills. The Bills in this one because the Ravens last year in a soaker against the Rams struggled. So I'll take the Bills. I think that's going to be a repeat. Moving us on to our last matchup of the week minus the Lions. We've got the first of 2 Monday nights in this one. This is your earlier one. This one will be at 7:15, 7:30. This one will be on ESPN. This one will be outdoors, 85 degrees and clear in Miami there. The Titans heading down to Miami-Dade. Miami very small 1-point favorites in this one. I'll take the Dolphins. I think if Huntley's the quarterback there, I think that'll give him a little bit of a boost. Hopefully Tyreek's back, and we'll have another Will Levis moment of the week, and this time it'll be in primetime.
Got to pick the Dolphins because of Will Levis. I mean, really, I think it's because of Mike McDaniel, but I think Will Levis is just going to keep Will Levising. So, yeah, I like the Dolphins.
We'll all talk about him, and I'm so excited for his moment in prime time. Give me the Dolphins to give us a Will Levis moment.
Watch, this will be the week that Will Levis just shows up and shows out absolute clean performance, no moments for him, besides good ones. That's your week 4. And then, of course, we've all got the Lions. That's your week 4 in the NFL. Hard to believe we're already in week 4. We will be back on Tuesday, October 1st, for a high-level analysis of Lions, Seahawks. Because of the Monday night game, we'll be a little later there. We'll be on Tuesday. And then we'll also make our week 5 picks there because of the bye week. We'll be off for the bye week. So giving the guys a little bit of PTO. Let's go Lions into week 4 against the Seahawks, and also let's go Tigers because they are making quite the playoff push as it stands right now. 3-1, or not 3-1. They are up 3-1 over the Rays. So they're continuing their winning ways. We love that. Hell yeah, brother.
Came in hot right there at the end.
Got to do it.